and welcome to episode 6 of the Philadelphia Phillies mini-series here. We're in the 2017-2018 offseason, looking to improve. First of all, today is free agency filings, but we did make some moves when it comes to our personnel. We hired Jose Figueroa from the Chicago White Sox. Not a great team. So you're like, CJ, why would you hire him? Look at the relationships. Very good with the team. He's a personable type guy. Works well with temperamental and struggles with easygoing, which could be a bit of an issue, but I think will be okay because you look at staff roles, they're already ecstatic. So I think we're cool. We also hired Miguel Robles as our first base coach so we could get a little bit better at running. Then it came to contracts. We did not extend any pending free agents, and we did give arbitration to, I believe, pretty much everybody on the team. If I go to history, transaction history, so yeah, here you can see it. So, go here, Freddie Galvis, Nick Castellanos, all these guys, Aaron Nola, they all signed with avoiding arbitration. It was a pretty small year. And then here's all the guys that left. We voided arbitration for Robinson Chirinos. Still might re-sign him, but didn't want to give him $3 million. I wanted to see what the open market was. Joe Mauer, kind of a similar situation. He might be a AAA Major League bat type of guy. Simmons wanted too much. Cishek, no. Britton may come back. Eduardo Jimenez wanted too much. And the same could be said for Eduardo Escobar. Now let's get into awards here. Here's the best defenders, the Gold Glovesman, and you see we got Chris Sale for us. And we go best reliever. It goes to Matt Clancy and Sergio Romo with Jeurys Familia. Gotta love Jeurys Familia, especially with the Phillies, right? Wrong. Getting first place. Then the Silver Sluggers, you see Matt Olson at catcher. Wow, imagine if he would have been catcher, how dominant of a hitter he would have been for a catcher. I mean, he's still a real good hitter for a first baseman. And then, yeah, same thing with Schwarber at catcher, too. When did Schwarber stop playing catcher in the major leagues? Something I have to look up. You see Mike Trout there. We already talked about his ridiculous season. Cody Thomas, rookie, 23 years old. Never heard of the guy. Should be on Head Scout. Yeah, casual 61 dingers. Just tied Roger Maris's record. So, that's cool. Then Paul Judd wins it. With Corbin Burns being on there for us. Judd had a really good season. He looks real good. He's 28 years old. Let's see his history. Signed a minor league deal from the Independents. That is crazy. So they just found the guy. Good for the Pirates scouting. Terry Francona wins Manager of the Year. Same with Bruce Bochy. Danny Salazar earns the Cy Young. He had a 3.36 ERA, so I guess a down year pitching-wise in the American League, which, if you look at the hitting, makes sense. And Madison Bumgarner, who's a free agent, won it in the National League. He had a really, really good season. MVP goes to young man Alex Bregman with Cody Thomas coming in second place. Bregman had an awesome year, but the NL was really the league that shined. Anthony Rendon, he won after a ridiculous season. Yeah, I mean, he was insane. Bryce Harper was, once again, ridiculous as well, 54, 313. Corey Seager was a joke with how good he was, 354 batting average. Nolan Arenado, actually broke the home run record with 66 of them. And then, no first place votes. Mike Trout, who was a 10-win player, which is just insane. And then we look at the top international guys. Anyone here? Sadaka Murakami. Big Barber. Only wants $3 million. He could be interesting. Danny Rodriguez stinks that he can't really defend. Kuramoto. Ipo Chang does not look that good. Dung Young Jin. Anyone here? No. And then normal free agency filings. See some of the top guys, some of the top names right here. An older class. Only one guy there under the age of 30, which is important. Waiver wires, trade block. This is always interesting to look at. See if there's anyone we can add. A guy like Carter Caps could be interesting. Not Brett. Sorry, Jose Abreu. Based off the year that Hoskins had. And that's one I missed. Rhys Hoskins. Gold glove at first base. What? How did that happen? He was a 2.7 zone rating, so I mean he was a pretty positive defender, but wow. Sorry. I'm a little under the weather, if you can't tell by my voice. It sounds a lot better than it did earlier. I was able to sleep it off a little bit. Tried to sweat it out too. I'm a wrestler, so I guess I can handle it a little more when it comes to trying to sweat out a cold. So positions of need. What are we looking at here in the free agency class? Honestly, I would not say starting pitcher. We do need a long reliever, though, potentially. Yeah, long reliever. Definitely bullpen. A backup catcher. And a shortstop. So, let's check for all pitchers. See any long men here. Henderson Alvarez. Not that interested in him. We could bring in the freak, Tim Lincecum, who somehow throws over 100 miles an hour. What? That's pretty crazy. We could bring in an older Irvin Santana. That one could be interesting. That's probably what we're going to do here, just looking at the options. We have plenty of money, once again, which is something I'm proud of. I think I've actually done pretty good with the financials. If we look just purely at starting pitchers here, Shelby Miller, he could be interesting. Didn't he start opening day for the Braves one year? The Braves were not good, and then they just got so good so fast. Like, it was insane. The pace of their rebuild, how they went just from zero to hero so quickly. We could bring back Charlie Morton. I wouldn't be opposed to Charlie Morton. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to sign a few other guys. I'll come back, show you who I signed, the same thing we normally do, go through spring training, and yeah, get into the regular season. Beginning of the preseason, and a lot of moves were made, some that could be a little controversial. I sound like something bad happened, but no, I'll show you what happened. Okay, so first big thing, we saw the guys leave. Well, we made a trade. We traded Gerardo Parra, Alec Asher, who's not worried about. Same with Osvaldo and Zach Coppola for Jaime Garcia. Jaime Garcia, he's an extreme ground ball guy. They retained a good amount of the money for him, so it made sense for us to bring him in. Then, we traded Rhys Hoskins, which I know I'm going to get some heat for, and Austin Davis for Lewis Brinson because we needed a backup outfielder who's a really good defender. Lewis Brinson fits the bill. He's only 23 years old. Okay, so we did those two moves. Now, who replaces Rhys Hoskins at first base? Bobby Dahlbeck. And I prefer Dahlbeck over Hoskins. Dahlbeck also could be a really, really good first baseman. So then I'm looking here, and I'm thinking, well, what do I do when I have to call up Jose Nelson? And here's my plan. I want Jose Nelson to learn how to play first base. Because if I bring Jose Nelson up as a first baseman, he's a lefty, so I can't play him anywhere else in the infield. Then what I'll do is I will either move Contreras or Dahlbeck after Nick Castellanos walks. We're going to either let Nick Castellanos walk in free agency, or we're going to try to trade him at the deadline if possible. So that's our plan at first base. And then in the outfield, we got a good backup there in Lewis Brinson. Go back here, history. GM transactions. Other things we did. Pedro Gonzalez, he's a depth shortstop we added. JP Howell, good lefty for the pen. Murakami, same thing, good lefty for the pen. Adam Ottavino, Logan Balcom, Irvin Santana, Giovanni Gallarata. Now, we added Wilson Ramos, and you think, well, we don't really need a catcher. Here's my thought process, right? We were able to pick up Wilson Ramos for $3.2 million on 1 year. We have Salvador Perez on $5.5 million. I'm willing to spend that and have a really good catcher play every single day, right? Because a catcher is not going to play all 162 games, right? Now I get a really good catcher every game, and I'm paying them a combined less than $10 million. So I feel like that's a pretty good deal for me. Then, Michael Bourne, more depth in the outfield. 2 scouting discoveries, and Charlie Morton we brought back. That's it right now. We have $35 million remaining, so we're fine on money. I have these up to as high as they can go. And I'm trying to find what I could do else to really improve the team. I think the team's in a pretty solid spot. I definitely think I'm going to trade Castellanos during the trade deadline if he doesn't walk in free agents. Unless we're competing and I think he's doing good, then I'll let him walk in free agency. Maybe I should sign a depth second baseman to replace him. If the Jose Nelson idea doesn't work out, a guy like Jason Kipnis, $8 million though. I mean, I don't really want to do that. Agon's there, the Grandy man. We look at pitchers specifically. Kenley Jansen's there. This guy, Juan Carlos Mejia, only 21 years old. Give me some of that. Ooh, that is a large major league deal. We'll just give you a minor league contract. And there's a few other guys here. Antonio Bastardo, former Philly. 27-year-old Shelby Miller, who fizzled out real fast in real life. Kenley's here. Waivers, nothing really. And if we look at the trade block, a guy like Alexander Bogaerts could be cool. He's young. Cano, I mean, on a 1-year thing, right? 1 year. See if we can make something happen for Robbie Cano. Because Cano, I could totally... Darn it. Yeah. Because I could see myself trading Castellanos for Cano, right? Or Xander Bogaerts, and I could just let Bogaerts walk as well. See what works for them. Like, would they take a Nick Castellanos? Like, what would they think of that? What would they think of a Nicholas Castellanos? I don't know. I'll try to work it out, see if I can do anything. Okay, here we are, opening day of the 2018 season, and I have made a decision that next season will probably be our last season. I'd like to do probably this season as an episode, next episode, the off season, and then one more episode, probably on launch day for 24, and then I'll start my OOTP 24 series, maybe a day or two after launch. I'd like to do a series on Out of the Park Baseball 24. I don't see why I can't. I can keep up this upload schedule. And yeah, we're projected 98 wins this year, with Mike Trout supposed to be the best hitter in baseball, with Odubel Herrera also on the list, and Chris Sale on there for pitchers. And when it comes to minor league systems, let's check that. We are number 3 with Vince Fernandez third. Jose Nelson is, what did it say, was 24th. Jesus Rodriguez is 42nd. Brandon Bielak and Denton Keys. So, what does our roster look like? Well, hold on, let me just quickly do that, and then I'll make any adjustments I need to. What does our roster look like? Well, when it comes to injuries, the only one is Dellin Betances, who's been injured for a while. He will be back this year. That could change up our bullpen a little bit. Starting pitchers, nothing out of the unexpected. If Jaime Garcia struggles, I'll either move him to the pen or send him down. I already had to waive Charlie Morton, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to keep him and maybe Irvin Santana, but Santana regressed with his stamina. Colorado will be in the minor leagues, and so will a few other guys, so I'm not super worried about it. And then bullpen is Sutter McCollum, J.P. Howell, Mitch White, who could slot into a starting role, Murakami, Luis Garcia, Adam Ottavino, Jake Diekman, and Brian Keller, with a few guys that I can call up, like Brandon Belak, pretty much at any time. Den Keys, right here, you see him. He is really interesting as a starter. I just hope he could develop his pitches a little more. They give me a little more confidence. Brandon Brown, Sean Armstrong, Tyler Gilbert has had a little bit of a resurgence, which is cool. So yeah, those are some of the guys. Should also just do that quickly to show you Carlos Bustamante. And then when it comes to hitters, Ryan Cordell is temporary. Don't worry. We're making an offer to James Harrison as our bench kind of do-it-all hitter who can play some of the infield, some of the outfield, right? Just makes sense. Good little contact slap hitter. One thing that we won't have is really power off the bench, which might want to add. But yeah, we got Wilson Ramos, Salvador Perez every other day for those two. You see that? Bobby Dahlbeck, Nick Castellanos, Wilson Contreras, Odubel Herrera, Nick Williams, Mike Trout, Vince Fernandez, with backups being Freddie Galvis, Ryan Cordell, Lewis Brinson. So kind of what we expected there. Jose Nelson might come up, might not. A few other guys already talked about this guy. John Cresto could also come up pretty soon. Another one is Michael Bourne. He could come up. Zach Green, he's 24. Just nothing real special about Zach Green. We got this catcher here who has a bit of pop. Cam Rupp, we have on waivers right now. There's also Andrew Knapp. So that's really it. That's going to end this episode. Next episode, we're going to go through all of the 2018 season and hopefully bring home a World Series so I can get this series done and dusted and do it faster than the Phillies did in real life.